The Society of High Prairie Regional Environmental Action Committee acknowledges that we live, work, and advocate for lands which have been occupied since time immemorial by the Slavey, Dene, Sioux, Nakoda, Blackfoot, Cree, and then Métis people. We are in Treaty 8 territories, which treaty was signed in 1899 on what is now Sucker Creek First Nation. We have a strong belief in stewardship of the earth, and all of our work honors this beautiful planet and the balance it teaches us.
Good morning, Sab. Thanks for making the time to record this video. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for thinking of me for this. Sorry it took a little bit. I've been very busy past few months. But yeah.
Okay, well, let's just dive right into our questions here.
Sure.
We're making a video about you making plant pots out of used plastic at the Royal Alberta Museum.
Right.
And can you talk us through the process, how you went about doing that?
So we work with usually with the source of the plastic waste. So the museum, they had a few signs that's made out of coroplast that we could process. So usually we work with businesses, institutions, determine the type of plastic, the processing and collection requirements. Then once that comes into our shop, we clean it based on the source. So like this was pretty clean plastic because it was signs, so not too much contamination. Then we cut it down, shredded it down to the proper particle size, and then it's fed into our injection machine. And once the plastic reaches the melting temperature, we inject it into the mold. Once it's injected, we cool it and demold it. And all of our equipment that we use, the shredder, injection machine, the injection molds, the washer, is designed and fabricated in-house. This allows us for like the flexibility and agility to tailor the infrastructure to whatever production needs are required in the marketplace. And then the open source designs from Precious Plastic has greatly influenced our overall process through this.
Excellent. So you're using the Precious Plastic template and building all your own machines.
Yeah, that's right. And like we changed some of the designs to work for our needs here. But yeah, they have a great influence on how we think about our whole process.
Excellent. And I'm just going to sneak one more question in for you, Sab, because I am a member of Precious Plastic Canada, and I see the kind of troubleshooting and backup that you get through the other members. Has that been useful to your company as well? All of that Discord chat about how to solve different things, and have you found that useful?
Yeah, like it's creating something from scratch is you run into multiple roadblocks, but having this precious plastic Discord or the forums where people bring up these issues, usually someone's ran into that issue. So, we piece it together, and it's really good to have this like pretty much international community working towards the same cause. And yeah, I think that's very strong for everything that we're doing.
It makes the work stronger, definitely, definitely. Okay, so our next question is, during the process of making those plant pots, had you noticed any evidence of microplastic production, or what can you tell us about microplastics while you're working?
So I think like the biggest part for microplastics is the washing process. So certain types of plastics break down into smaller parts. We noticed this early in the process, like when we first started. So everything that we have in the shop, whatever gets cleaned, passes through a sand filter. But like looking at the actual sand filter, like we change it annually, so it's not significant, but we try and capture anything before it goes into the environment or the sewage system. So
Oh, excellent. So you've adjusted the system to include a sand filter to filter out microplastics, and you do a wet wash then of your plastic chips?
Yeah. Well, usually we wash it before we shred it. So,
Yes.
and you know, it depends on the type of plastics. If it's like something where food was involved or something else, then it obviously needs more cleaning. But most of our stuff, we just kind of wash it, yeah, just with water and vinegar, and kind of that's as simple as we keep it. So, yeah.
Excellent. Our model is going to call for these rural, remote, and indigenous communities to sell their plastic to the facility. And so we're going in with the expectation that that plastic will be clean or it won't be bought. So that's kind of the model we're using. And we
Right.
hope that works because, yeah, the washing the plastic shreds, evidence shows that you can lose up to 13 to 15% of your total
Oh,
volume. So,
yeah.
yeah, a massive microplastic possibility there. So, congrats on the sand filter idea. That sounds really interesting. We are researching right now with the Department of Engineering at the University of Alberta to see what kinds of emissions plastic recycling can make, so that we're prepared. And we wonder if you have any health and safety protocols that you keep in mind when you're recycling.
Yeah, actually, so we have researched the safety concerns regarding mechanical recycling of plastic. So as a result, we only work with HDP and PP, as these risks are more manageable compared to other plastics like PVC or polystyrene. So in our shop, all the equipment is connected to fume extractors and carbon filters, along with main exhaust system. And the key that I think this is the key for any kind of recycling that is done in this way is the plastic is never allowed to heat past the burning point. We just take it to there's a quite of a range from the melting point to the burning point, so we can keep it below that, and this reduces the potential for more harmful toxins like VOCs. And so yeah, that's what we
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah, our research shows that the melting point is a quarter to a third of the burning point. So
Okay.
it's pretty far away from the burning point. But yeah, we agree with your conclusion that it's really important to avoid that burning point at all costs for sure. Great. Next question is about PPE, meaning personal protective equipment, not the type of plastic. Can you tell us what kind of personal protective equipment you use while you're working? And I understand that you've got lots of vacs going on your equipment, and you've got, what is it, a hood fan filtration for the whole place, or?
Yeah, so like the whole place has just like an exhaust fan attached to a filter, and
Mhm.
then each piece of equipment, based on where the fume sources are, has its own like 4 inch or 6 inch extractor that goes through its own individual filter. So yeah, and then in addition to that, when we are running the machines, we wear respirators, gas respirators. So like all these different layers of protection, I think allows for redundancy. And so if you miss something, then we just try and reduce. And then also the amount of time we spend doing it has to be managed as well, so being exposed to certain toxins. But I think with the layers of protection, you're pretty well covered. Um,
Absolutely. That's great to have those layers of protection. Awesome. Can you describe the type of respirator that you're looking at when you're working with recycling plastic?
so I'm not, I'm sure there's the name for the filter, but it's basically like the respirators that we have is 3M respirators,
Mhm.
and the specific kind of filter is used for like gas gas filtration.
Okay.
So because there's you know the N95, which is usually just for dust
Yeah.
and particulate, but we want to go past that and block in any gases and um, toxins that are could potentially hurt your breathing.
Those potential TVOCs. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're also doing a deep dive for dioxins, which are counted as a TVOC, but yet they're a lot more dangerous as endocrine disrupting chemicals.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So a 3M, and is it the kind with the two?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we're moving on now to talk about extended producer responsibility, which is coming to Alberta. And do you see it changing anything about your business model? For our viewers, I just want to say that extended producer responsibility is when the producers and manufacturers take financial responsibility for recycling, which has been traditionally paid for by municipalities. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So EPR, I mean, I'm really excited for it. Natamakes focuses on the process first. So we're constantly developing different methods of processing, manufacturing, product design to provide a library of upcycling technologies and production methods. So with this, we hope to pave the way for businesses to move forward in a circular model. So with the EPR, there will be a demand for recycling technologies and innovation. So I think Natamakes is positioned really well to meet these demands.
You're poised right there, because here's the thing that I've discovered through national conversations in some places like Ontario and BC that have already transitioned, or they're in their transitioning phase. They're finding a great reluctance to include the ICI sector, which is institutional, commercial, and industrial, into all of this recycling. So they're going to want to do something as well. So yeah, I can see how you feel that you're poised to help there, and that's awesome.
Right.
Are there other waste streams that you're exploring?
Yeah, so I mean, so obviously recycling is not the silver bullet for pollution, as we know. So plastic with its flaws still plays like a crucial role in our society. So what that means is that there needs to be biodegradable alternatives that function far better than their plastic counterparts, thus reducing the demand for plastic. So to address this, we're working to create biocomposites from organic waste that can replace certain plastics. So we're currently working with organic waste such as coffee grounds, fruits, vegetable peels, eggshells, spent grains, and we're experimenting with the material capacities and the different methods of composing these materials to find proper fit in the marketplace.
Oh, interesting. So you're looking at biodegradable options.
Right, yeah, trying to see what we can create naturally without processing it too much. And organic waste is already headed to like, for compost. So might as well get another use out of it before we throw it out. And it is compostable. That's the whole goal with that part of the project, is to create something that will function as, single use packaging maybe, or other aspects in the marketplace, but they're also 100% degradable, and they reduce the requirement for plastic and a reliance on virgin plastic, basically.
Right. That's so important. We want to always make sure we say biodegradable, though, when we're talking about organic plastics, because here's the thing. We at North Country Fair have required our vendors to use biodegradable materials for years, and we finally tried them out in our compost pile with disastrous results. There's a lot of greenwash out there when it comes to biodegradation.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky space to work in, because some of the products insist that they're biodegradable, but you have to have industrial facility. You can't just do it in a pile the way we do.
Right.
So that doesn't work for us. And then there's other ones that are degradable, but then they have a film, some kind
Mhm.
of a chemical film,
Yeah.
which is we don't want in the compost that people are growing their gardens in.
Right.
Compost makes great dirt and it's full of vitamins, but we don't want it to also be full of strange chemical films.
Right. Yeah,
So yeah.
I think what you're talking about is PLAs, and like, so they're oxo biodegradable, which means it needs heat or it needs a certain process to degrade. So it's not a natural process. And that's like what I'm trying to hit with this, is that like truly degradable in nature. Like you should be able to throw it out and like not worry about it, and nature will take care of it. The seasons and natural decomposers should be able to use that as food. Because I mean, if you look at nature, there is no waste.
No
That
waste.
at the end of
Absolutely
one
no
cycle
waste. Yeah.
is the beginning of another. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there has to be a way to get to that.
Yeah, you're right. We have to get there. Absolutely. I just want to caution you too, as a landfill manager and a person who works in the community to help clean up. For instance, during pitch-in week, I have a lot of experience that tells me that litter reproduces. If there's a piece of litter, whether it's biodegradable or not, it's going to collect more because people
Right,
see it and they're like, oh, people don't care about this area. It's like the broken windows theory, right?
right.
And
Yeah,
so, yeah, if you're making truly biodegradable things that can go back to nature and people can throw them out, try and make sure that the people who want to throw them out are putting them under leaves or, putting them in nature so that they're not obviously litter.
right,
Because
right,
otherwise you'll get lots of other litter that needs to be picked up. And people doing the pitch-in weeks and things like that, they won't be able to distinguish
right.
between, right? So it's interesting being in transition and keeping all these things in mind because we really are in transition right now to a circular economy, and I really appreciate all of the thought and care that you guys are putting into this. Which brings us to our final question, which is why? Why do you do what you do?
Um, so based in short, it's to increase the range of possibilities for future generations. And I think we touched on this just in this last little bit. But our ignorance as a human species to longevity has resulted in increasing failures of the life support systems on this planet. And it may not be our fault, but it's our responsibility to increase the range of possibilities for future generations by healing our planet. I believe this is possible by designing and creating anti-fragile human systems that are aligned with nature. And we must begin to view environmental and social responsibility as the basis of our economies. In the words of Buckminster Fuller, pollution is nothing but the resources we're not harvesting. We are allowed we allow them to disperse because we're ignorant of their value.
Wow, that's a really interesting way to look at it. I finished a book some months ago called Pollution is Colonialism, and it's based on this idea that imposing thresholds is a mistake, basically saying, oh, you can take it up to this much to a river, for example,
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of ways to look at it, an opportunity, an imposition. It is both of those things, but I absolutely agree that it is our responsibility to solve this for the future generations.
Or at least try.
And keep trying and
Yeah.
not stop trying. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Another question that maybe you'd like to answer for us is how did you get started and what were some of, like, you obviously have a team with you now, but how did you first start out, and can you talk us through a little bit of the history of Nada Makes and um, how it's developed since the initial phases?
Um, yeah, so I think so it goes back to our previous question. That's kind of where it all started. I was just kind of looking for a way which was connected to my background that I could possibly move forward. and I stumbled upon precious plastic. With precious plastics, the way they're thinking and the machinery, I thought like I could definitely create the machinery and the infrastructure and be like that's what I was good at. So I think like maybe I could move the whole concept forward. And so yeah, we built. I had a friend with me and we built the shredder to begin, and kind of just kept building different things from there. And working with businesses and institutions and pretty much whoever wanted to get into this space um, to design something that they could bring their idea to fruition. And so yeah, and that's kind of what we do is to take your waste and see how we can make it into something else. And that's the basis of Nana Makes. Um, and yeah, that's what's brought us to here now, I guess.
Awesome. And I'm intrigued by the name Nada Makes. Um, can you tell me about that name? Like I speak Spanish, so I don't know if it comes from Spanish, but tell me where the name comes from.
So the name Nada means nothing in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so originally I started off with a friend, like the whole concept. So we were trying to find a name for it. And I said, all I want is that this motto where it says something from nothing, because essentially that's what it is. We're trying to take waste and create it into something. So he's like, okay. And so like he went and did some brainstorming with some other people, and then it's like Nada Makes, nothing makes. I'm like, okay. And it sounds cool. So we kind of just went with it.
That's
Um,
great. That's exactly what I thought too when I first heard it, because something from nothing, and the thing is, though, as we were discussing before, in nature, there's no waste, so there's no nothing.
right.
So that's our precious plastic resources that we're remanufacturing and making into something.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what we're hoping to bring to rural, remote, and Indigenous communities who may have not had the option to participate in recycling programs because the shipping is just too much, too
Right.
far, too expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. And even in my research in that and speaking to, I have quite a few friends in uh, like native communities, and that's the thing is that it's too far and the density is not enough for recyclers to come out. So that's why I think this model, what we follow, we can create small scale machinery and infrastructure for communities like that to be able to recycle their own plastic. And like, I would like people to think of Nata Makes as that backup for technical assistance to create any kind of infrastructure that we require. And, you know, especially in remote communities. And so, yeah.
Well, that's that's great to have some additional support there. We're working with Citizen Scientific Workshop to create the equipment and create the templates for these plastic remanufacture facilities. But of course, it's everyone's busy, so it's
Yeah.
great to have an option just in case
Yeah.
um, David is busy doing something else.
Yeah.
Sometimes emergencies happening.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm super glad to meet you, and thank you again for your
Thank you.
time. And I hope you have an awesome day.
You as well. Take care.